Oh, let's go. What's up, bro? We got a podcast in the metaverse, bro.
yeah. Who knew that this is what it was all building up to through the entire first season? And now we are here kicking off season 2 with all of you guys, a live studio audience.
Let's go. Every Tuesday.
A podcast. We didn't even know what was happening. We were 15 episodes into this.
It seems to be helping and impacting a lot of people. We'll see you every Tuesday on the Well MetaVersed podcast. Peace.
I don't know why I chuck deuces. Like I don't chuck deuces. What was that? Jason Earls.
I'm chunking them. I'm chunking the deuces.
You know what? I can't even say that anymore. I don't chuck deuces because I do all the time now. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm fantastic. Better now that I'm in your presence, bro.
Dude, man, this is good to see you face to face. We almost connected up in IRL, huh?
Oh, dude, that would have been. We were so close in the same city.
Two ships passing in the night. Yeah,
dude, I'm gonna tell you what's funny.
Yeah.
So the whole time I had been saying I got to fly to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this shows you why it's important to have a team around you of people in their giftedness and their expertise. Because I'm not the detail person. That's not administration is not one of my biggest spiritual gifts.
Yeah.
But my executive assistant, who's off the charts with that stuff, her grandchildren were in town. I'm like, you know what? Just take the week off. We don't have a lot going on. All this, we got this conference coming up. I'll buy the tickets. It's fine. So I purchased the tickets for Detroit. Come to find out, dude, the weekend of, everybody's emailing her in panic. We looked at his information. He's flying into Detroit. The conference is actually in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So
yeah. that's fine. It could be worse. My friend, our mutual friend, Rick Roberts, he was coming into Grand Rapids, Michigan for a big event, and he bought his plane tickets and everything. And then like 2 days before, he realized that it was in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. So that's
snap. How long of a drive is that?
I don't know. He ended up being able to change his tickets, but it cost him a couple bucks to do so.
Yeah, but Rick Roberts is a Southwest guy. That's the Southwest actually had me thinking about switching my loyalty because they're really good with their. Oh, they're so good with their customer service. But
that's cool.
But I stayed with my airline.
Yeah, that was a bummer though that you were in Grand Rapids, you were in my hometown, and I was out in LA.
Dude, I mean, dude, that's what happens when you big time, brother.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There were a couple moments during that trip to LA that I felt pretty big time.
All right, dude. So tell us about it. So for everybody who does not know, you flew to LA. Let's say you were flown to LA for a specific task.
Right. So so there's parts of it that I can't talk about yet, but what I can say is I was flown to LA to do a photo shoot. And that was a wild experience. And I mean, this was a full on photo shoot. Like this was more like a movie set than a photo shoot location. Like there was a theater that was reserved. There was another building for logistics and support reserved. I had a trailer that was wardrobe and hair, and there were probably a half dozen support vehicles there. There was a team of 28 people involved in the photo shoot. It was I mean, it was big time. It was
all the king's horses and all the king's men.
man, it was like it was so surreal. It's like, wait, is this happening to me? You know, and I'll tell you one like really amazing part of it. Like I was in my trailer,
Yeah.
and the knock came on the door, and dude says, "Hey, they're ready for you on set," which that's pretty weird in and of
Right.
itself. And I come out the trailer, and there's a security guard flanking my right, security guard flanking my left, two photographers walking backwards, snapping pictures of me as I walk through the streets of LA to get to the theater. And there's people like honking and you know, woohoo, and one lady yelled, "We love you," and I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know me. but then, like, it's always funny because in a spot like that, there's always something to kind of bring you back down to earth.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I came around the corner, and there's the theater, and up on the marquee, for the first time in my life, I see my name up there in lights and on the marquee. And my last name is spelled so wrong that I could barely even recognize it. There was a P in it. Like, my last name is Sorrels. They put a P in it. Like,
oh, that's funny,
yeah.
dude. That's
yeah, it was
funny.
Wild. Somebody then drove by, honk, honk, honk. "We love you, Soprales." It was wild, but man,
yeah, you can't Google me, baby.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, incognito. Yeah, they fixed it, and we did a quick take too.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I just picture the conversation. Oh, hey, go put Aaron Sorrels up on the marquee. Yeah, how do you spell that? I don't know, but there's got to be at least one P in it.
A P and an X, and the Q is at the end.
That's right. The Q is at the end. Yeah.
You know,
but that
man,
was wild. Like the people were just so great. I mean, it was incredible to work with these folks. Quite literally, the best in the world at what they do. And
yeah,
man, it's awesome.
Yeah, what's amazing about those environments, it's you have the best like hairdresser, the best wardrobe people. It's everybody doing what they do well.
Yep.
For one collaborative effort, man.
That's right.
Just collective or collaborative, either one.
I think it's both. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, man, it's really amazing. Let me ask you this. Because I remember I was doing one event, and I was doing a man on the street with a bunch of stars, man.
Uh-huh.
And it was like I was in the moment doing what I do and was doing it well. And it was like I brushed up into the reality of the greatness that I know is inside of me. And then I heard somebody say, "Do I supposed to know you? Who are you? Do I supposed to know you?" But just that like the awness of that's the best way I can say it, of just being in that moment where you're like a duck that's flying, quacking. You're like, yeah, I was born to do this. Did you experience something like that?
Dude, well, I mean, I just got goosebumps when you said I brushed up against the greatness that's inside me.
Yeah.
Like that right there. Like, I mean, that's awesome. That is awesome. Man, oh man alive. Like that phrase right there. Anytime we get the the opportunity to do that. Oh, you know what I'm looking at? And we got some comments to say hello to some folks here. Speaking of greatness, Exterminator. Dude, I'll tell you what, Exterminator's name recently came up because we've got a show in the Soapstone called Good Morning Soapstone.
Yeah.
And he landed a great guest for Good Morning Soapstone. I'm not sure that I can announce that quite yet. But Exterminator, we know what you did. You're awesome, man.
I just can I say this about Exterminator?
Yeah.
And about you and to anyone else. It's I was on a show today, and I just said this: consistency, consistency,
Mhm.
consistency is the key. And man, when I think about Exterminator, man, Exterminator, you, my friend, are consistently supporting, consistently showing up, consistently just offering what you know your insight or what you think will work. Uh, and I just one, I appreciate that. And I just want to encourage everybody to be consistent. And two, brother Aaron Sorrels, uh,
Sir Palace.
do your what I've said it several times. What everybody is seeing from you being flown out to LA doing this photo shoot that it took 28 people to really capture that big head of yours.
Man,
Uh,
I hope it turns out good
that,
because
that, that,
man,
that
those
noggin is so huge. How many?
yeah.
We need 28. 28 people for the big headed guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But man,
Whoa.
just that's a product of what consistency brings, man. What diligence, man, brings, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, uh, it, it's really wild right now to see some of these things happening and see some of these things that are kind of in the works and coming
Yeah.
up. Like, man, this is an exciting time to be here. You know, you're talking about consistency, and here's about the most consistent person I know with support and love.
Absolutely.
Kimberly Ann, man, it's good to see you, my friend.
So awesome. Such an encourager. Even in my pastor used to say this, man. Sometimes you just have to show you have to be supportive with the ministry of presence.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
The ministry of presence, just being there.
Just
You know,
being there.
like to take the Christianese out of that, like being there. Being
Being
there
there.
can be so helpful to people. And
That's
then Chester says, you know, God will put you in the places you never imagined. That is absolutely true. And Oculus, oh, he made a quote here. By the way, he's always good for something really profound, bit of wisdom that he always can share. Let's see what he's got for us. Oh, did I miss the live stream?
deep, deep,
Yeah,
deep.
yeah. Deep. Good stuff, man. What's your shirt about?
Brother. So here's what everybody got to know. I consider myself, although I've got great outlinings in my beard, there's certain things that I do to make sure I don't want to look old. My kids' friends always say, your dad doesn't dress like a dad. He dresses like a cool person. But I did something that was an old dude. I bought this shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Boy, that couldn't have been scripted better.
Dude,
Like,
that is listen,
perfect.
bro. That
Yeah.
is when dudes wear these shirts, I'm like, that's an old dude. He has no swagger whatsoever.
Well,
I was
dude,
like, man, I'm paying my money for this dude, dropping my son off last
that's
week.
right.
I'm like, I'm getting me a shirt that says dad on it.
That's right. Yeah.
So
That's
absolutely.
dude, that's a pricey shirt right there.
Brother, you have no idea. Yes, sir. Like, my goodness. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
my son, we dropped my son off last week at Grand Canyon University. My wife and I flew out to Phoenix on Monday. I moved him in the dorm on Tuesday. And man, said our goodbyes, man. And the emotional goodbyes. And let me say, dude, I get to talk about this for a little bit if I can.
Yeah.
Man, I was talking to my son just about, man, I'm a comedian, I'm an artist. So and I'm not an A-list artist. So man, sending my son off to college while I got 5 other kids at the house. I'm like, man, like, dude, I got high expectations for you, bro. It's dude, you setting the standard for the family, dude. And it's like we could do other stuff with this money we sending, by the way, sending you to school with. So go and be great. Like, I would do it 8 times over for you. Know that.
Mhm.
And but we've also prepared you for it. We've invested our best into helping you become the young man that you are. So we've been having that conversation, man. And I thought that it wouldn't be as emotional because we dropped him off at that leadership apologetics program last year. So I was doing okay. But dude, my son asked me this. He said, and my wife, he said, how often do you want me to check in with you all?
Mm.
It's like that. I was like, well, it's up to you. I know. I just want to know what you all expectations are for me because I want to honor that. Then that dude, we're about to say goodbye, man, my 20-year-old son grabs me and holds me tight, dude. And it was if to say, thanks for everything, Dad. Dude, that thing. I lost it in a hold it together way. I do, but that thing just I hurt my son's heart saying goodbye. And that dude was, yeah. Whew, that was something else, man. That was something else.
Man, all of us men out there, desperately yearn for our Father's approval.
Yeah.
And our Father's love.
No doubt.
And to be on the flip side of that and to know that your son has such love for you, has such appreciation for who you are and what you've done in raising him. Man, what a victory.
Indeed,
Wow.
Dude, one thing I've tried to do is, man, I've really tried my hardest to love my kids as if I was to die at any moment of their lives, I wanted them to be able to say, my dad gave me my all.
Mm.
My dad gave me his all. And so, man, to see like I was able to taste, like to drink from that cup. Like this dude felt the love of his dad to where, man, now that he's at that point where he's saying goodbye for a moment, like that's evident in the way that he's saying goodbye, Dad. Dude, that thing, it jacks me up now, bro.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Yeah. So I wear this shirt loud and proud, baby.
That's right. That's right.
And actually, dude, he started a company, man. He started a t-shirt company called Things Above Apparel. It's pretty awesome, man. If y'all could show that brother some love, man, and even purchase a book. I mean, purchase his t-shirt, that'll help him,
cool.
Get some groceries or something. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Solaris is in the house.
Da, 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 da,
she says you're an amazing dad.
Appreciate it, man.
Super cool. Super cool.
And just know, Solaris, every time I go to the barbershop, I've been scoping out the right way to do this video, and I'm probably doing analysis paralysis. So the video for you is coming soon.
She said the hair looks good, so but I know, but if you promise her something, you better deliver.
It's coming. Indeed, it's coming.
Oh man, speaking of deliver, I think it's time that we better deliver to our audience this guest of ours.
Call your mama, call your dad, call your friends, tell them to tune in because you're about to get a treat. For real.
Absolutely. So please welcome to the show our friend Ubiquitous. Yay!
Hey, everybody.
He is.
How's it going?
Good.
I just stopped crying from all that dad stuff.
Did you? Yeah, excellent. Because you actually have a new addition, right?
I feel it. Yeah, I felt everything you guys said because I have a little 16-month-old, and man.
Dude,
yeah,
listen.
It's powerful.
Yes, you know what really shaped my philosophy as a dad is when my son was a newborn, my oldest, and my dad just looked as I was enjoying this stage. He said, "Enjoy every minute of it."
Yeah,
because the time goes by fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've removed a phrase from my vocabulary. I never say I cannot wait until. I always say I look forward to something, but I can always wait, because when life is good, you just want to be in the moment. And that's what childhood is. So
You know,
Absolutely.
given the feel of this this podcast so far, I think I want to play a quick clip of you, Ubi, just to kind of introduce the people to who you are. So let me play this clip from when we were live in studio audience.
Oh, this is. I
I
think I know
actually
what
got
you're
my
playing.
invite to Horizon the same month. My wife and I realized we were pregnant, and
Wow.
now my son is 16 months old, and I'm thinking about this. Like, he's never even seen me in a headset before, and I want to keep it
Yeah.
that way for a while.
Yeah.
But
That's great.
my personal plan is just to pay attention to what he's interested in, and see
Yeah.
how I can help him apply it to the real world first, and then we'll start to introduce art. You know, I think I want, he watches me paint sometimes, and I'm
Yeah.
waiting. You know, now that he's getting older and he can kind of walk around and stuff, I'm waiting for him to take interest in that.
Nice.
Just you know, like, let's get messy with the paint. Let's go outside and do things. And
Right.
as far as introducing technology, you know, we got all this stuff. We got computers and phones and all this stuff, and I want to keep him away from that stuff for a while. But the first thing I have for him is my parents saved my Atari, my original Atari that was actually my older
Let's
brother's.
go.
And I got the Atari sitting in a corner, and I've got a 12-inch tube television, and it's just there, and it's just waiting for him to find it and turn it on. And I'm not going to turn on for him, but I know that when he's ready, he'll find it, and he'll, you know, curious hands will press those buttons, and he'll figure it out, and then I'll see him playing Pong. That's what I want to see first.
Man, I'll tell you what, watching that clip, but at the same time watching the thumbnail of your grin and just your smile there, dude, your love for your son, your pride for him, like it all just comes through crystal clear, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Side note, you know, the original Pong was in a bar in Silicon Valley, and I lived like 3 miles away from that bar.
Oh, really?
Wow.
You were destined for game design, right?
Well, you know, I discovered Pong when I was little. I want to give that to him, and then even as an adult, I could discover it again because I went to the place where it first got set up. So, Pong, who knew? Who knew how you know people would be talking about that so many years later?
Right.
Wanting new kids to discover it first before they get into all the crazy stuff.
Yeah. Man, good stuff. Good stuff. So,
which I
go ahead.
just saw this video on Facebook. It was the evolution of fight games.
Oh,
It was so cool just to go back and walk down memory lane to see. Yeah, I remember how simple the fighting was, and now the complex design or coding of it, man, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had like A/B punch games, right? And then I remember what blew my mind was Killer Instinct came out, and that was the first like 3D, you know, fight art. I was like, oh my god, like this is like when 3D was shiny, but it all looked amazing anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Huge.
Exterminator says, finish him. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I know we want to get into some of the wisdom that you shared on game design, but before we do, I want us to share just 2 more clips that I think really tell us kind of who you are. So if in case you're not sure who you are,
we're always
right.
Let's see. I make stuff.
You make stuff.
I make stuff. So when I was like 14 or 15 years old, I got a handle of my first 3D program. I stayed up all night and ended up not being able to go to school the next day because I was just up all night making stuff. And my parents were like, what is with you? What are you doing on the computer? So, and I was in Bryce way back in the 90s, back in the 1900s, Bryce, right? And I've just been on fire for it my whole life. It's my career. It's my life. I love making stuff everywhere.
It's your career. It's your life. It's everything, huh?
It's awesome, man. Well, you know, like it's funny when I hear that clip. My parents they just heard of America Online. They're like, "Are you chatting on America Online? What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, actually." I wish at that moment I could tell them, "Listen, guys, this will be like, I'll go to college for this. I'll get a job doing this. It's going to be all good." But they just thought I was chatting, and I actually had to sit them down and explain, "No, look, I'm like building like worlds and houses and terrains," and that helped them be cooler with me being on the computer all the time. But looking back on it, I'm glad I decided to do that. And I think Builders and Horizon were the same way. It's cool to play games. Obviously, people have to enjoy the experiences we're making. But like, if you're in there building, like, of all the things you could be doing, it's a cool thing, but not everyone does it. So it is special.
Yeah. That's
big ups to your parents just for, just creating that environment and fanning that flame. That, to me, that's the most amazing thing about your story, is just seeing how that little seed or opportunity that they gave you, just even by having that available to you, and what that's become. Like, everybody benefits from that now.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew. I think it's just kind of like, in my family, it's always been like a, hey, like, just press that button, open that door, see what it does.
Yeah.
And things we chose to do with it was productive, which is always productive. Yeah, luckily.
Yeah, good stuff. We got a couple of comments here. Rainmaker says he loves seeing the avatars and the IRL selves at the same time. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, you know what? We got to throw this link up here. This is your son's apparel company.
Yeah,
right?
That's my son's apparel company, man. If y'all can show him some love and order a t-shirt from that, everybody, that'll be an encouragement to a young entrepreneur, and
I'll tell you,
and a blessing.
I'll tell you what, this is the first time I've seen the name of this company, but Things Above Apparel. Now, I know this, a lot of people know this, that, faith is a cornerstone staple in your house. And I imagine that's the motivation behind this name, is his relationship with Christ there. How does that make you feel as a dad?
Oh, man, it's a bunch of crap. No, no, man. It's you raise your children in hopes that they will be all that God had placed inside of them to be. And man, this is because now you see him on a certain trajectory. You're like, okay, God, you got it. Like now, he's dialed in, and there's certain things that I don't need to talk to him about. There's certain things as a dad I still need to advise him on, but it's because of the trajectory, his relationship with God now is like, if he's about to make some bumps, or if he gets bumps, like, I know that God will be there to guide him, man. It's pretty cool, man. It's as if, like, I got my son a computer, and he just somehow stumbled on AOL and just started creating. Like, I know he's going to awesomely impact the world, bro.
He's doing a lot of things. He's doing this. What is his study? What is he studying?
Business entrepreneur studies.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
yeah. We'll start a business right away.
Absolutely.
There you go. Man, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Actually, Rainmaker says he loves seeing the avatars. I got to show this clip too, because this cracked me up. Because your avatar, Ubi, looks nothing like you.
I don't look anything like this in real life. Everybody thinks I'm an old guy.
Awesome.
In real life, or
well, I come in here and they're like, "Hey, how old are you, man? Are you some old guy? Are you Colonel Sanders? Or are you whoever?" I've heard a couple of things.
Are you Colonel Sanders?
That's right. And I say yes to that always. I am Colonel Sanders.
For sure.
That's the secret.
If somebody's going to ask the question, yeah.
To add to, sometimes I walk into a Starbucks with my black t-shirt, my black glasses, and my Apple laptop, and I know I look like everybody. I look like everybody else. So in VR, you can look like whatever you want. I wanted to be a wizard. What did I say?
and dude, it's kind of like, I think it's just a your avatar is a manifesto of like who you are in the creative space.
Yeah,
It's like
that's right.
It was a moment where I was like, I could be unique here. Yeah,
yeah.
really. Like, let me be the opposite of myself. That's what I wanted to do. Long hair, white, everything. And I thought maybe it would be iconic. And maybe it would just be cool because I figured I had a hunch that Horizon would be very colorful. So to be monochromatic in a colorful place would be kind of neat, I think. Plus I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to make too many choices, just all white, just all the brightest stuff. That's it.
Yeah, it is funny because oftentimes, well, I mean, two things. One, in the metaverse, we can present ourselves exactly how we want to, and that's awesome. But there's something special about having that level of insight to say, you know what, if people are all going to be able to present themselves how they are, it's going to be bold, colorful, overstated, and then to say, I'm going to stand out by taking the step back and being a little bit more neutral. That's cool stuff.
That is a true artist, a skilled artist.
That's right.
Like, because even with comedy, I notice especially if the crowd is a little younger, if they're up here, I want to come in and I'm gonna bring it down just to kind of like show I'm in control, and we're gonna paint this picture comedically how I want to. I'm not gonna allow y'all to dictate the canvas.
That's yeah. It's about contrast. Actually, the name, The Unemployed Alcoholic, Oculo says, I look like I had a professional stylist and some grooming tips. Oh, like what do I normally look like? That yeah. But the name Unemployed Alcoholic, that was about contrast, because I feel like everybody is constantly trying to put their best foot forward and really overstating who they are. And I thought, you know what? I feel like people are hungry for something genuine. People are hungry for somebody who leads with, I'm not all that. And it's been very interesting to see how people respond to that, because it's very much a contrast to what the norm is.
I just like how you can be whatever you want in VR, and it's persona, right? Like there are people who, there's like actors, they step on stage and there's someone else. And in VR, you don't have to be someone else, but you could be like a persona, you could be like an amplified version of yourself, or it's cool.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about celebrities, and one of the benefits of the metaverse is people who can't walk down the street and engage in a normal conversation with anybody. Like they could come in under anonymity in the metaverse and be able to just genuinely interact with people without all that.
I have to admit, I'm the complete opposite. In the real world, if I walk into a party, I can talk to everyone, I could see everybody's face, I could read the room, I can match the vibe. I've had a lot of trouble in VR. Like I'm not myself fully in there. I am when I'm building, and I'm really interested in the future when like you get full control of your ability to build and own the environment or control the environment. You can kind of perform and do all kinds of cool stuff in there. But right now, when I walk into a room, I'm very quiet, and that's not how I am in real life. So for me, it's a little the opposite. Yeah, I can't wait for facial recognition, because that's going to help. I think I want to be able to read people's faces. I want to see the eye rolls. If I'm saying something, someone eye rolls, I want to see it, so I could that's how I gauge and adapt what I'm talking about or what I'm doing.
Tell you what, there will be a learning curve, and there will be some of us that are rolling eyes and yawning and not paying attention. And then as soon as that facial recognition comes in, we're going to be like, busted.
You're talking to someone all of a sudden, it's just like,
yeah.
But we need that. We need that.
Yeah. So I was on a Clubhouse show today, encouraging people to get involved with the metaverse. And I was like, listen, like they've already decided what's next and what's next after the next.
Oh yeah.
But what do y'all think is the next thing? Like, what do y'all
The
think?
next thing, because actually today announced, it was announced by Mark Zuckerberg what the next thing is, and that's Meta Connect. That's happening. Well, did you see the announcement on that? October 11th, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of info coming out.
Yeah. But the next thing, I don't know. What do you think, Ubi?
I mean, the ultimate end all for me is the ability to materialize your thoughts at the speed of thought. That's what I want. If I'm in my game, or if I'm in a world that I'm associated with, and I want to like manifest something, I want it, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah, if you can think it, it's too late. It already happened.
Man, what's next? This man goes straight to, I just want to manifest stuff at the speed of thought. Like, that's
get on it. Come on, guys.
You win. You win.
Yeah. I got nothing to add to that. Wow. And so here's the thing, like, of course, we all know that they're working heavily into AI, and with being able to speak things into existence, and being able to, like, say, put some clouds over there, like, so I mean, that's the direction it's going. That's wild to think about.
Which, by the way, I mean, in some ways I feel that way already. Like, it's not at the speed of thought, but I can go into a world right now. I could say, I want to make this thing. And like within, 15, 20 minutes, I'm well into it and I'm in the flow, and it feels that way sometimes. But I used to work at IBM, and it is published a long time ago. IBM used Watson to do that in VR. Like, there's a whole library of stuff. And I stood in an office in IBM and I said, give me a large, elephant that's purple, and it would put an elephant that's purple in front of you. So,
and what time frame was this?
This was like 2015, 2016.
Wow, back in the Stone Ages.
Yeah, Stone Age.
Man, wow,
I wish my granddad was still alive. I have a video of my granddad, and my granddad was probably born in 1920. And man, I got a video the first time I Skyped him.
Oh, really?
Jacked him up. It just jacked him all the way up. He was like, oh my Lord, look at here. Jason, you in the box.
That's awesome. I think that's a really cool thing, especially if 1920, the amount of evolution that people born in that time must have, like, I used to talk to my grandmother. I'm like, everything's invented. We have everything. You told me about how you didn't have TV. That's crazy. How did you not live without TV? And I was sitting there as a little kid. The internet didn't exist yet.
Right.
I didn't have the internet.
Right.
I'm part of the last generation. I was born in the 80s. I think people in the 80s are the last generation to grow up without the internet. We didn't know. We didn't have it yet. Yeah. I was talking to my grandmother, listening. What was it like before TV? What the heck did you do? Now we were talking about kids earlier, and like, our kids are born in this world, and whatever you put in front of them, they just accept as reality. Like, wow. Grandma's on the phone. Like, yeah, that's normal. Like, they don't have any of that back history like your grandfather did. Like, because he didn't have that his whole life, and now here it is, and it's blowing his mind. And then the kids start out with it.
One time I was like, man, I want my kids to be able to have just a dial-up phone. So I was like, you know what? We going old school. We called the internet company, got a telephone. And my daughter, who was a toddler at the time, she picked up the phone. She's like, I can't see him. I can't see him, man.
This phone's broken.
Right.
Yeah, we have a technology channel on Slack that I'm part of, and people talk about their kids. And somebody has a Kinect, and you turn the Kinect on by waving at it, And then so the little girl was going around the house like, how come everything doesn't turn on when you wave at it? It's the best way to turn things on. Why doesn't everything?
Right.
They
How did you live without being able to wave and turn things on?
Yeah, why would, like, it works for this thing, why doesn't everything do that? It's just in their mind. It's all so simple. I love it. I love it.
I would love if somehow the Oculus had a feature when you go into a room, a different room, it gives like a sense of smell. So you go into a room.
I don't know that I'd trust people with that.
LEVR?
Yeah, like wow. Like,
LAVR.
It smells like outdoors here. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm in the unemployed office. Wow, it smells like a fart in here. Like,
imagine the trolling that would happen.
Oh man, yeah.
Let's see. What do I want? I'll take you to Dumpster Fire, my favorite and most popular world. Obviously, we could have smell-o-vision in there. Note to Horizon, if you want to beta test smelling VR, let's give it to me. I'll put it in Dumpster Fire first thing.
That is great.
That's right. Man. Speaking of design, like when we were talking in World, like you jumped into some really important stuff as far as game design and the importance of testing and all that. I've got actually 3 clips that I want to get in before we go here. And the first one is on game design. So let me cue that up here and let's watch that.
Imagine, do you remember old Nintendo games like Mario? As kids, we got this little box. We put the cartridge in, and there's a controller, and it doesn't. All it says is press A to start, or press the start button. That's it. It doesn't tell. There's not a pop up every 2 seconds like press A to jump. Press the arrow key to go forward. It's just you let people discover. But if you look at those levels, they're designed to help you understand what to do. That's the original reason why you start on a start screen, and you can't go left. You have to go right. It just helps you understand that there's a progression.
So good.
So yeah, I mean, you're talking about like in game design, like allowing people to discover there, right?
Game design is the easy one to talk about because you're specifically putting someone in a place to try and figure things out. But this is the whole world, Why does a door have a handle on one side and a metal plate on the other? Because you pull and you push, and it's just design is there to help without using words, just help you feel really smart, like you know what to do, and you will know what to do if the design is really smart.
So I'm a man like this. Like we're probably about to say the same thing, but you said if the design is smart, it will make you feel smart.
Yeah.
And
if the design is dumb, it will make you feel dumb, but you're not dumb. The design is dumb.
There you go.
It has a handle, but you have to push it. You'll feel stupid when you try and walk in that room and the door doesn't move the way you expect it to. But it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's the door's fault.
Not my fault. Right. Did you hear that, Jason? Not my fault.
That's why people say stupid door.
That's right. You're right.
Have you ever seen, there are doors, they have handles on them. You cannot pull them open. You have to push them. They put the handle in the wrong spot. Yeah. You can write a whole book on that stuff. Yeah.
It's funny because in one new thing in Horizon right now is portals, and we were talking about how, especially in the soapstone, it's a popular world, there'll be people that will come in and just drop a portal and try to clear the world out and just trying to get people to come check out their world, and like we were discussing, like, okay, do we create an area that's specifically where people are allowed to put portals? And do we put up instructions to say, it's not cool to drop a portal in the middle of an event and things like that? And I what we landed on is in accordance with what you're saying here, because we decided, let's let society push that through and establish the norm, as opposed to trying to direct people and that.
Yeah, it's like twofold, right? Like, I mean, if we were at a party or if we were at a comedy club and you're on stage, you have the microphone, right? Someone else can't come in. Someone busts in the door with the microphone. Hey, come to my comedy club. Like, oh, great. Like they're a total jerk, you know.
That joke sucks. Come watch me tell mine.
That's right.
And then open the giant door to their comedy club.
Right. Yeah. A fleet of Ubers pull up.
Clearly, that would be bad design. So, you know, we have portals. They're new. Everyone's going to play with them. It's not the users. Well, it is kind of the user's fault in that experience, but everybody designing these things needs to just analyze what's happening and refine and make it better. And then on top of that, like, you know, more presence. People need to feel the horror everyone feels when someone would do that in the middle of a room. We're in early days right now.
Yeah.
I think people do some of that stuff because there's not some of the social pressure that you'd feel in real life. So, so many questions answered there. Yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
That'll be great in the dating world, though.
the portals, like that's funny. That's funny. Now,
at least you can't push someone through them. Can you imagine? You could vote someone out, but imagine a giant portal opens and then just everyone in the room just pushes that.
Here's the portal to hell.
Oh man, that's funny.
The portals are cool though. They're cool.
They really are. Yeah, there's more good than bad that comes from them. Like if you're with a party and you want to travel places together, it's so much better than the previous option. I think it's really cool. And I'm sure what they're doing is they're watching the uses and seeing what's happening. I mean, effectively they're testing the game design. Here's what you had to say about testing game design.
My first things I ever did, I went to college. I had an awesome, lucky career, and one of the first major places I worked was a museum. And one of my first jobs was, they're like, "Hey, we got touch screens. We got this new thing. It's called touchscreen. Problem is, nobody knows they can touch it." Can you imagine that? They're like, we built these kiosks and nobody knows that it could actually touch them. So we need some way to help people understand, and we don't want to just put a sign that says "touch the screen." So how do we feel and make people feel welcome to touch this thing? And I was like, I think about that still all the time. I'm like, well, now it's obvious. Now if you have a screen and it's not touchable, you'll see fingerprints all over it because everyone expects
it. Right. So how did you get them to touch it?
Well, so we came up with a thing called an attractor loop, and it actually like it showed someone touching an item to do one thing and showed somebody touching another item to do another, but it was really like we would put this. The cool thing about museums is you've got an endless amount of happy people who are just walking around looking for stuff, looking for new stuff to look at. So we would wheel out the kiosk with one design and just see how many people touch it. And then we would try it again and then just wheel it out with another design and see how many people touch it. And every single time I was trying to reduce the number of instructions. I didn't want to have any text. Like originally it was like just this young kid and they're like, look, just make some screens that have text on it that say they could touch it. And then I was like, no, let's do like a user study and let's see how much we can reduce the text and stuff until people do it naturally. And then,
I remember I was really like 22 years old and they're like, just put text on here that says touch it. And I was like, no, let me talk to the architect who's designing the space. We have to like lead them into the screen and we have to make them feel like they want to touch it.
Let me talk to the architect.
But even that's like as an artist designing an experience, creating that to lead people there. I love it.
And I don't even know if I explained it correct in that podcast thing. I've got mostly in my mind. I just wanted people to feel like, ooh, I want to touch that. That's what I wanted. I didn't want any text, and we did it. Now it's obvious, but like listening back on that, the perfect VR example of that is like in the first VR examples where they were showing VR off at like trade shows and people had never had it before. You put your headset on and then the controller is there in front of you and it looks like a 3D controller, but it's actually matched to where the controller is. This is all obvious to us now. And people picked it up. And that's the way it should have been. Like you shouldn't have to explain the controller. It's there in real life. You put the headset on, a virtual version of it is matching, and you want to touch it. And when you pick it up, you pick it up and it feels like you expect it to, because there's a weird connection there where you have a real controller that matches the virtual controller and you don't have to say anything.
I wish so bad my grandmother was alive and was in earshot of this conversation. Like, you got three grown men talking about touch it. What the word y'all talking about? All y'all keep saying is touch it.
I can feel a smack on the back of my head, like right now.
Oh, AT&T, reach out and touch someone. Wasn't that
Oh, that's funny. That was a prophecy right there.
Yeah. Oh, Oculus has another comment. With asset spawning, we could potentially say spawn taco and boom, taco.
This goes back to the manifest thing. Right now, if I wanted to, I could go into all my worlds and with a few things of code, I can make it so Oculus and Oculus only can manifest a taco if he wants to in my world. I could do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Leandro asks if we think that AI will have a major impact on how worlds are created in the near future.
Man, have you guys seen Midjourney? Have you played with it?
No,
I have not.
Okay. You can go on the Discord, you go on to Midjourney or a lot of these other ones. You type in prompts and phrases, and then it generates a picture. So the first prompt I had was McDonald's restaurant in Frank Lloyd Wright architectural style. And then it made a McDonald's that looked like it was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Wow.
And it's just a picture, right? And it gives you 4 options, and some are good and some are bad. And then you could refine the options. The way technology works and how quickly things advance.
Wow.
This could happen with VR worlds. We can say a prompt. You can say that same thing and stand in front of it in 3D. Why not?
That answer has got to be right up Leandro's alley, because they're an architect and the design tools have been around for a while. But man, what do you think about, will builders eventually be replaced by AI?
Well, I'm never afraid of that stuff. You can't be afraid of being replaced. If you could be replaced by a computer, then you should already be thinking about what to do next anyway. But
yeah,
the thing I'll say is computers are always going to be tools for us to use until if they ever became cognizant, they would just, well, we'll get into that later, but like I have a joke about that actually. But what I'll say is it's a tool. People were concerned that animation was going to disappear when 3D came on the scene, right?
Yeah.
And sure, a lot of 2D cell animation is gone, but also we started using computers to do 2D animation in different ways, or we have toon shaders, or we've got all kinds of things. So it's a tool and we'll learn to use it. Even if I say, give me a McDonald's restaurant in Frank Lloyd Wright architectural style, that's a beginning prompt, but then what do you do with it? What do you go and, it's still going to be a human telling these computers what to do. It could get kind of weird though. I mean, if we start thinking things and then it shows up in front of us, it's going to be a completely different world, and it might actually go that way. What does that mean for artists? I don't know, but don't be afraid. Think about that. And if you really think that's going to be a possibility, think about what you're going to do about it and with it, because you can't stop it. But if you can use it to do some really interesting things.
Yeah. Speaking of that, when I dropped my son off at Grand Canyon University last week, he was like, "Dad, you got to see this." They took me to an esports arena, but it was this laid out for all the old heads. Just imagine a computer lab. It's dark in there. They got LED lights running, and dude, they've got computers set up and just a bunch of kids in there gaming. They got, It was so amazing. I was like, yo, what does it look like? They're training the next generation of gamers, or the current generation of gamers. What does that look like, for a certain space to have a bunch of people with Oculuses in there training them to build and stuff. I don't know, I don't even have a question, but I guess would you see anything happening like that?
I don't know, man. I mean, the first thing that came to mind when you said that is I remember LAN parties, we love those, and we're all in a room, we're all on computers, but being in the same space did add something. Like we could have all been at home other than the fact that back then you had to all connect to the same hub and be on the same network and stuff. But being in the same room together, playing Serious Sam or any of those other games was like fun because you can, you can win and then you could like taunt the people who are in the same room with you. It's a great question. Are there situations where being in VR but also being in the same space is useful? I think absolutely. Like, I would love to see a game of Game Grid. I would love to see two people play Game Grid in the same gymnasium, like and really like space it out so they feel like they're the same distance apart as they are in VR. Like you can give them the best aspects of the real world, which is like togetherness, or maybe like sometimes use fans for wind, or like make them feel heat or something, but also like give them all the benefits of physics breaking that is in VR. So like I think so. I think that VR in the real world could really do some really interesting things. We haven't even scratched the surface on that yet.
Yeah. Talk to Aaron. I just want to hear right quick, like talk to us about Game Grid a little bit more. Like just like let us just geek out a little bit. Just tell us whatever you want. We're sitting at your feet.
Everyone has got like, and no matter how much stuff you make, there's always like your favorite thing. That is my favorite thing because I always wanted that since I was little. And on the podcast, Oculus asked me like, how this is, you made it like 2 years ago. How is it still around? And the one thing I'll say is like, these games should have long shelf lives because like, hey, it's the same headset as 2 years ago. So why not the same game? And we're updating these things, and I'm not the only one. These original OG games are some of the best games on the platform still right now. And I was inspired by Elastic Plastic, and I was also inspired by JHEF. They were both making excellent single player games. And I was like, damn, I'm so inspired by them. I have to one up them, and I have to make a multiplayer game because no one had done that yet. And I was like, I didn't know how to script that much at that point. So I was like, I got to use dynamics and I got to use collisions because that's easy and it's already there for us. So there's very little scripting in the original Game Grid. There's still very little scripting. Most of the scripting went into the introduction and the fanfare that goes around the game. But the game is very simple. And some of the best games in the world are the simple ones that are just simple and you get it and then you lose or you win and you're like, I want to play again. I just want to say one last thing is like, when I created that, I was 3 months in. I barely knew what I was doing, but I was getting it together. But I have a lot more to add to Game Grid. Like Game Grid is the game that I'm going to continue to add to, right? And I just love watching people play it. And that could be a completely different or completely expanded game a year from now. If people keep playing it and I go in there and I watch them, I'll keep changing it and adding to it. It's got a long way to go.
So if I'm hearing correctly, Game Grid is going to be like the Madden or the 2K or Super Mario was like, man, when is the next one coming out? That's what
Yeah, except for instead of the next one, instead of the 1.0 or 2.0, it's just like, oh, wow, there's a whole nother game mode now. Or, oh, wow. The interesting thing now is like, you can go to other worlds. Like you can go to Waffles World, Puzzle World, or you can go to Quick Thinking, and you can do some things that get you. You could take stuff out of those worlds and bring it into Game Grid now. And that's just the little tiny test that we got to do. But that's a whole nother thing to open up. And I'm very excited about that. These worlds where you can, that's what VR is. That's what's going to make VR very powerful. You can go into one place, find something, grab it, take it into another world, use it, or the fact that you've done or unlock something somewhere else will expand a whole version of the game, and that's what Game Grid's going to do.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'll tell you, I love what you said when we were talking about, and I don't have a clip for it, but you were talking about the value of in-world purchases, and your concept was if somebody is going to like invest in something or buy something in world, it should be something that makes the experience better for everybody in the world. Like, yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I am the anti-VIP room guy, and I don't, some people sometimes misunderstand my passion for not that, right? So I feel like purchases, I like to, if you make something amazing and you offer a very easy, realistic ability for people to support it, then that's great. It should just do it on its own. It should be no question. You make something so great that people are like, of course, $5. Are you kidding me? Whatever, But when someone supports, when someone becomes a supporter, instead of putting them up on a pedestal alone or with a smaller group of people, I want everyone to be excited that a supporter walks in, because when a supporter walks in, the place gets better for everybody. And the fact that they're there with you is what makes things greater. Not that they're up above you as some type of status thing. I don't like that at all. So in my world, I'm never going to do a VIP room ever. I want to do things where, oh man, supporters here. Oh, I love it, because then the game gets better. Or, oh my God, if we get this room full of supporters, then everything just goes nuts and the whole place is crazy. And a person who walks in for the first time can experience and benefit from all that support from everybody else, and I'm very passionate about that. And and unapologetic about it. I think VIP rooms suck.
Yeah.
And I think that bringing people in and making the place better for everyone is the way to go. I hope everybody understands that model is so powerful.
That is a major leadership nugget, dude. That is some that's a concept that God likes, dude. Because I'm thinking of a verse talking about the overlooked ones, those who are seemingly less important are actually the ones who are most important. So in a VIP situation, you think, all right, man, we got these people, they big time, those are the people that we want. But the more non-VIP people you have within the organization, within a group of people, actually the better the organization is.
I would say that's correct. It's interesting because in the soapstone we have the supporters wall, and it's funny because like my concept behind that, when I put that up there, I'm like, okay, basically I want this to be a way to recognize the people that are part of the soapstone, the people that are deeply engaged and are part of the soapstone. So I tried to price it where if somebody comes in and they're not engaged with the soapstone, it's why would I ever do that? That's stupid. But if somebody comes in who is, it's, oh, that's a no-brainer, like you were talking about. And I think I've hit that pretty good because I've heard both come out. But talking about making the place better, like our shows that are scheduled, like often, like last night I was at a show in the soapstone, and there were 17 supporters on the wall in that room. And what you're talking about, like the room was on fire. And part of that is because every time a supporter comes into the room, they get a certain amount of applause credits. So they're smashing that applause button and confetti's going, and like it's this big cool feeling. So like I get that. We also, though, the flip side of that, we also do have a supporters lounge that you have to be a supporter to get into. And part of that is to have some special items that we don't want kids to get, like a broom, and like just some of these things that are oftentimes used by trolls to like aggravate people. Like we needed an area that like the people that are legit can access it, and the people that are just going to want to access it to cause trouble, like they just they don't get it, and they're not going to spend $10 to troll. At least most people won't.
Yeah, there's that too. Money is an excellent way to stop people. Like, because if something has no value, then people often don't value it, right? If you give something away for free, like there's an example of we won't go into too long of a story, but I think it was the Michelin guide for restaurants. They were giving it away, and the guy who owned the company went into an automotive place one day, and like it was like underneath a bookshelf, leveling the bookshelf, like they just jammed it under there. And then after that day, he decided to start charging $1 for it, because like if you give it away, people won't even look at it. They just treat it like garbage. But if they had to pay $1, then they'll only take it if they really want it. And there's something to be said about that. I mean, I did that with the reset button in Game Grid. Like, it costs 99 cents. And I've had people ask, well, why? And I'm like, well, because I don't want kids to be pounding on that button, and kids don't have credit cards. So if you really want something in your world that has a little bit of value, just, you know, make it like $1 or something so people won't just smash on it. But yeah, so there's that too. But I guess it's just, what I want to say is just, if I don't like to think about money all the time. And what I found is the money comes to you if you just pour your heart into something and just make it so unbelievably valuable to people that people are like, oh yeah, like I want to give, $5. And if there's if someone wants to play a mode in my game and there's no supporters in the world, so that mode isn't unlocked, I want people to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I've played that mode so many times. It's good. I'll be the one who like turns the mode on this time. And then, you know, it shouldn't even really be, I don't want it to really be a big deal. I just want people to feel good in the games that I make. And, you know,
man, that nugget of wisdom right there it's actually, I know we're about out of time, and that's just such a good thought to end on, that, you know, if we're going after the money, we're going to run into trouble because we're not going to be able to make the decisions to make things excellent. But if we're going after the experience, if we're going after adding value, if we're going after connecting with people and giving people opportunities, like, the money will come. It's like, maybe it won't, but if it doesn't, you know, okay.
That is an early American lesson. The Virginia Company of London, when they sent those young cats over to establish this business venture that was a colony, they were like, man, we want y'all to give us that fur and get us that meat. That's what we want. We want money. And because they were so caught up in that, all the young cats who came and was driving that ship to get the fur and the money died.
Yeah.
Didn't survive.
Well, wouldn't that be true about game? Like, if you walk into a world and all it wants is to rip into your wallet, doesn't that feel terrible? You don't want that. Nobody wants that.
Yeah. Yep.
So good.
Well, good stuff, man. Ubi, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us live in World a couple Fridays ago, and then now to live stream. Like, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to get to know you, and I got a lot of respect for you, man.
You guys are awesome. I love being here. I'd definitely come back. I love talking about this stuff. It's so much fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Please come back, dude. This was fun.
I guess one thing I'll say is I seriously have like 30 worlds that are like 95% done that I haven't published. And as we know, there's been a lot of new features coming out on Horizon that really make the things that I stopped some worlds because I felt like it wasn't possible to do right. But a lot of that's unblocked now. So I'm going to be putting out a lot of worlds relatively soon. So I'll have a lot to talk about if I ever come back.
Stay tuned.
We having the Ubi party. That's what we gonna do.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching. We will be this upcoming Friday at 11 a.m. We will be back in Jason Earls Productions in the Metaverse, recording another live studio audience episode, and then of course next Tuesday we'll be right back here live streaming. So we'll see you then.
Bye. See you.